Well, you wouldn't believe it, but much to my amazement, people actually like these videos that I put out. I've seen a couple people in public who have been like, dude, why don't you put out more of those? And I'm shocked, like blown away. Because I don't know, like, what makes them so special. I personally think my perfectionism says you gotta do a better job. You gotta have these high production videos that other people see on their YouTube channels that you watch. Shout out to all the people I watch. But without going into a bunch of names, apparently people like these videos, and that helps me get over my fear of doing them, to be honest, because I always have that voice in my head that says, no one's ever gonna like your videos, you shouldn't make them. Well, I made a couple and you guys like them, so I'm gonna make another one. Guess what? Today, we have a very, very exciting, action-packed episode of The Story of Pursuit. You see that sign right there? I bet you can't read it. It's just yet another story of a project that I started and I didn't do anything to finish. Follow through, none of it. Just started it and went. Well, it's time to start catching up on projects, and you know why? That's a twofold story. It lets me tell you a story. It also reminds you of stuff that I've done in the past art-wise, because that's what you all know me for. You only know me as the artist I was in the past, because I haven't done much of anything in a while. But there's this crazy thing that happens to artists. I know all my creative friends out there can relate to this. We pile on projects because it's exciting to start a project, and then we abandon projects because it's difficult to finish them. Well, I got a piece of art, 2 pieces of art right here. Those of you who have been following me since Denver might recognize them, because these 2 pieces of wood right here have been following me around since I lived in Denver back in 2016. I think I left there in 2018. It was when I left Denver. I remember when I made those, though, it was before Trump started his first administration. That's how long I've been carrying these things unfinished. I made a bunch of prints. Some of you bought them. I thank you to everybody who did. Made a bunch of prints. Well, now they're cut up into shapes. And I think they're better served as individually painted unique pieces. So that's one step of our action-packed episode of The Story of Pursuit. Super action-packed. The other part of the project. Sometimes when I'm filming things, I want some calming lo-fi beats to make art to be playing out of this computer, but I don't need the screen showing. So, I already have footage of getting this far. I'm going to teach you guys something in the art world. See, look right here. You can see there's a rough outline of the Story of Pursuit logo. Nice, huh? How'd it get on there, you might say? Well, I'm going to treat you to teaching you my favorite transfer technique of all. And we're going to finish this sign that blocks out the computer screen. And finally, the best part of all, the part I'm most excited for. So we're going to put some brand new strings on my buddy Ed here. I've been playing this guitar with these same strings for almost 2 years now. It was Christmas January, because I came home after Christmas, prices were like $900 to get from LA to Maine. First week of January, $200 round trip. But I got my grandfather's guitar then. I put some new strings on it and I haven't changed them since. Let's just run through some little finger picking or something. Anyway, there was no particular pattern there. I just wanted you guys to hear how this guitar sounds now, so that we know how it sounds once it's got those new strings, you know what I mean? Anyway, we got 3 projects lined up in this one episode. I've never given anybody this much info in an episode before at all. So, new strings, sign painted, old pieces rolled out with brand new ink so we know what the lines look like and we know how we're going to paint them in. I even got a cool idea. Talk to you about the new idea when we roll out those demo blocks. All right. Isn't this exciting? First time that I've sat down to do anything like physically artistic. I've drawn on some tablets. I've sketched a little bit in a sketchbook. To actually sit down and do something for the first time in a while, it feels like a big deal. This is actually kind of exciting. Because I remember this image and I remember what was going through my mind when I made these 2. I was obsessed with sneakers. And I wasn't making enough money to be obsessed with sneakers. Probably because you guys weren't buying my art about being obsessed with sneakers. Looking back, I kind of can't blame you for that. I was trying really hard to make it as an artist, and I didn't really know what that meant. I was trying, but I was also drinking a whole lot. There were 2 like little liquor stores within a 2-minute walking distance. One of the liquor stores, the one next to the public library, it had $1 double shooters. I'd spend like $4 a day on 4 airplane bottles, and I'd just sip them throughout the day, but I'd be friggin' loaded by the time my girlfriend got home. And I don't think she was really too aware of that. I would play it off like it wasn't a big deal anyway. I'm just honestly telling you guys stories. Like, these are real life things of what I remember from this period of time when this piece of art was made. And so, people know me for making art, and that's cool and all, but like, you guys don't know what it was like to have gone through that period of my life that you all know me for. And so I guess this is a little bit therapeutic in that, like, let's be honest, it's a pretty good piece of art right here. I don't think anyone in their right mind would look at it and say, that's a very bad piece of art. The more I roll it up, the more I like it. The more I'm looking forward to painting it from a place that's actually, like, happy, you know? You know, like I said, there's nothing inherently depressing about this image. Unless you really hate cities. If you really hate the congestion of cities or pit bulls, you probably won't like this one. And this one too. You know, if you don't like couches or huskies or water towers, if you really hate water towers, you're not going to like this piece. You're going to think it stinks. But for a while, you know, like, I began to associate the art with the difficulties of the life that I had created as an artist. I know a lot of you have seen me grow as a person while being an artist, a person who outwardly says I'm an artist, but if you've seen me lately or noticed a lack of my presence on the internet, well, it's because it was just really hard to be an artist, and it took a toll on me. It wore my soul down to a pulp. I don't mean to be too dramatic. That's a little bit dramatic, but it was really hard to just be like in addiction, but not thinking it was addiction. So nobody ever was like, hey, I think you got a problem. Some people did, but I always said, F you, I don't, and then never talked to them again. But that was a mental state that I was in when I made these pieces, like really slipping deeper into a drinking problem, being very poor, doing questionable things for money. You'll hear about some of those stories in songs that I have. But we've completed project 1. This camera just said that it's got internal temperature and needs to cool down, and I've never seen that before. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up from project number 1. Late afternoon and all the mountains are blue. I heard an angel singing out, it was a song about you. The wind has started rustling all the leaves in a tree, banging branches together, forming out a perfect bag beat. Well, I don't know about me, but I think Ed sounded pretty good. Let's see what he sounds like with some brand new strings, though. Here is Ed. He's a Yamaha from sometime in the late 60s, early 70s. Made in Japan, as you can see by the Nippon Gaki label in there. You know how the Japanese do things, with actual care and craftspersonship. Now, how did the guitar get the name Ed? Well, from what I hear, my grandfather bought it from a guy named Ed. And now, that same name is clear-coated right on the finish of the guitar. That ain't going nowhere, folks. So I guess that's the name of the guitar now. So without further ado, okay, so the last time I had strings off of this guitar, it was almost 2 years ago. And I've been playing it, loving playing this thing. But I never cleaned it. So it's actually still got some of that smell that smells like Grandma and Grandpa's house. And I hope that never goes away, but I gotta get some of this old dust off of there at least. Look, you can wipe the old dust right away. Look at this fretboard. I mean, you can see where I've been playing it, but I don't know what this... I think somebody shellacked it at some point. I think this whole guitar got shellacked, and then you got dry as a bone down here. Old 1960s De Armand pickup. Tinted as heck. Gross. This project, which I thought might be an easy thing to do, a little quick restring. My heart's telling me, you know what? You love this guitar. Take the time while there's no strings on it, while it's unplayable. Just really show it the love it deserves. This thing's been in my family for, I don't know, 50 years. I'm 40. He's had it my whole life. Let's just say 50 years. I don't think it's ever been really given the kind of love that it deserves. But I love this thing, so I'm going to keep cleaning.
Oops, I broke it.
Let's just take a moment to notice the difference between frets 1 through 3, which I've already scraped all that shellac or clear coat off, versus how pearly they are here. I can really see wood grain and then immediately dark. Look at how beautiful this fretboard is now. Compared to where it was, the inlays are at least somewhat white. Like, they still got a little yellow to them. These ones closer up to the nut are much nicer. Speaking of the nut of this guitar, the story goes when I got it, it was broken. I didn't know much about guitars, so I just pulled one off of a crappy, cheap, free guitar that I got. Slapped it on there. So is it true that this guitar is gonna get a new nut soon? That's a true statement. Is it true that this guitar is going to get a new nut before it gets those strings put on? Well, Maury says that's a lie, dude. Let's go ahead and put these John Mayer strings on. Got these new strings on here on this fully out of tune, partially refurbished FG-300 named Ed. Let's go ahead and get this guitar tuned up. Why don't we? Alright, what was it that we played yesterday when we were testing out the old strings? I think it was. Late afternoon and all the mountains are blue. I heard an angel singing out, it was a song about you. The wind had started rustling all the leaves in the tree, banging branches together, forming out a perfect backbeat. The whippoorwill had sang out its lonesomest note, and somehow the angel just filled it with hope. She sang on and on, I've been running a beat, been gone too long, what the pretty eyes have seen. Baby, there's a porch swing just waiting in the pines with a light on my door. The world got you running ragged, but you don't gotta run no more. I'd say these new strings sound pretty good. Now, I'm no expert on the topic, no savant of guitar string manufacturing, no highly experienced guitar player with years of wisdom to fall back on. This video isn't about that. This video is about whether or not these new strings my brother got me
sound better straight out of the bag than those 1.5-year-old strings that I had before. So why don't you go ahead and vote in the comments. In fact, argue about it. Whatever strong feelings you have, whether they be about these strings or anything at all, actually. Get in those comments and let me know which ones sound better. The old ones or the new ones. I'm thinking at this point, since I do have things other than YouTube to do with my life, it's probably a good chance that we put that sign on hold. Pick that back up next episode. But before we do, I did say I had a really cool idea for what to do with those wood blocks, didn't I? Let's go check on those. They're still not dry, but we'll check on them anyway. I said I had a cool idea. And that idea is that we have two images here. We have a pit bull and we have a husky. Which one do you like the most? I'm thinking it'd kind of be a cool idea if whichever one wins this poll. I'm going to make a short for this. Whichever piece wins this poll gets selected to be released as a Procreate file. I know you guys all have Procreate. And if you don't, get on your iPad, download it. I'm going to send you a file, a PNG. It'll be just the black outlines. You go ahead and color it in how you think I should paint it. I'm not saying there's going to be a prize. There's going to be something cool for the ones that I get that are really awesome. If you guys are down for it, we could do like a critique, and I can give you feedback on your color choices and designs. I don't know what we can do with this, but the idea opens up a lot of possibilities for, collaboration, for engagement, for you being a part of the channel with me. And so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take photographs of these, I'm going to get them in Photoshop, separate the layers so we have just a black outline. You guys are going to vote in the short or in the comments, both. We'll figure it out. But we've got a lot done in this video, which means there's a lot for me to edit. And that's my least favorite part of it, if I'm being honest. That's why you guys don't get a lot of these videos. So we're going to go ahead and stop it right here. This is the story of Pursuit. Thank you for joining. Next episode, we'll be picking up these projects we didn't quite get done this time. We'll start talking about art, the spirituality of art, the psychology of art, the lifestyle of art, just more so just the experience that I've had as an artist that you guys have all followed. I'm going to tell you my side of that, how I felt as that was all going on, and I think it's going to be a pretty cool little series. So until next time, thank you as always for tuning into the story of Pursuit. God bless you all, and I'll see you again soon.